Hi folks, Mike here. Thanks for stopping by again. In today's video, I wanted to address a myth, a watercolor myth. It is commonly felt and believed that watercolors are, once you put brush to paper, you're kind of committed. And 90% of the time, that's very true. There are exceptions, and if you know how to do it, you could make corrections, limited, obviously, indefinitely, but you can make corrections to watercolors. And in this video, I experiment with trying to do just that. I had posted a watercolor video that I had done, and I'll put a link in the description down below. And the more I looked at it, the more I just wasn't satisfied with. Primarily, the issue I was having was with the creek. It was a fall landscape with a creek running through some gravel, a gravel bed, stream bed, fall colors, aspens, and a surrounding landscape. And I just wasn't real happy with the way that water turned out. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to try to correct that. I think I was successful. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you thought I was successful. And if you like this video, do give me a thumbs up, appreciate it. And if you'd like to see more of them, subscribe. In America, in the United States, today's our day of Thanksgiving. Do want to say is how thankful. It's a day essentially for me of Thanksgiving. And I'm very thankful for this life that I lead, my artistic capabilities, and especially thankful for you folks for tuning in and giving me time out of your day to watch what I do. And happy Thanksgiving if it applies. Let's get on with it. Hi folks, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. I'm Mike, here in my world-famous studio where all the magic happens. I paint in both watercolor and oils. I like watercolors for their transparency and loose suggestive qualities, and I like oil paints for the opacity, the texture I can create in the brush strokes. I paint the people, places, and things of small-town rural America. From the towering peaks of the Rocky Mountains to the towering grain silos of Kansas, or the small adobe casas of New Mexico, to the fishing boats in a marina on the northern British Columbia coast, the cowboys of Montana, the bewhiskered bikers of Sturgis, or the flatbed Ford on a corner in Winslow, Arizona. They all have a story. With my painting kit, I travel the back roads and the byways of the West, often on my motorcycle, seeking out the character of my subjects and capturing it using the effect of light, shadow, shape, and value. I get the information I need from roadside sketches or photographs and use those studies for more complex work back in my studio. Come with me as I paint my way along, and I'll tell you the tale of the people I meet, the places I go, and the things I do. Just living life out west. So what we have here is a watercolor that I started last fall, or earlier this fall I should say, and I'll put a link in the description to the original video for this watercolor. I like it pretty good, but there's some things about it that I would like to change. And it's a common belief with watercolor that once you've applied pigment and water to paper, that that's the way it's got to be. And that's largely true with a few exceptions. And depending on the quality of your paper, the quality of the pigments you use, there's a few things that can be done to modify the painting. So what we're going to do here is, see, I'm not real happy with this stream that goes through here. And so I want to try to make it look more like water, and vary the shoreline a little bit, give it a little more character and interest, and like flowing water. So this is kind of an experiment, so you're going to have to bear with me. It may or may not work, we'll see. But let's give it a go. I'm going to give it a pretty good soaking. I use some gouache, white gouache with this, and I don't know how that's going to react. You can see already that it's activating or reactivating, and I just have no idea how much it's going to take or what it's going to take to get this the way I want it. I think one of the things I'd like to do is, instead of having this come out to me like this, I'd like to curve this, or maybe curve it that way and bring this around. Yeah, see, I think already I can see that's an improvement. And then I'll fill this in here so it's, well, I don't know, we'll see. But the next thing, as this is wetted, what I'm going to do is, as this is wetted and it absorbs into the paper, I'm going to try lifting some of the color. See, I like where the ground, where you can see some ground that's in there. This might not take as much of a redo as I'm thinking that it could. And I add a little color. The sky reflecting off of this water, and it's a tumbling stream, so it's a flowing stream, I guess I should say. Yeah, see, I think that's helped already. And there's rocks. The shoreline is pretty irregular. There's just some cobalt blue that I'm breaking up that shoreline with. Well, I guess to me that's a huge improvement already. Now, as we know, the effect that you get with watercolor is largely governed by how wet or dry the paper is. And that's a little damp. And one of the ways I can tell or to try is by feel, but then also if I put a little dab of color in there, see, it doesn't bleed too much. So it's probably drier than wetter, which is fine. I mean, there's no right or wrong. It's just a matter of you knowing what you got. And knowing that watercolor will always dry lighter than when you apply it. Now all I'm doing here is trying to put some of these rocks exposed, and I just need to make them look like they're either just below the surface or poking up out of the water. These I'm trying to make underneath the surface, so we'll see effectively how well that gets pulled off. The closer to you, if you're standing there looking at this stream, the closer it is to you, the more you're going to be able to look down into the water and see this stuff. And the farther away it gets from you, the less likely so. Now, one of the things that's pretty much a given in the fundamental rules is that the farther water is away from you, the lighter it's going to be, and that helps lay it down. If it's dark, it's going to have a tendency to stand up, and I'm using white gouache here with just a tad of cobalt in it, but I want to create this water line that goes back. So there's some riffling water in here, and I have to figure out how to convey that. I feel like I'm doing a Watercolor Mythbusters episode. So then at some point here we got to stop and take a look at this and see when, how, and if I've accomplished what I set out to do. Well, I think that's a huge improvement. And I think being able to see these rocks down in the water very effective. Now, see, in the case of gouache, I said earlier that watercolor dries lighter when it dries, but in the case of gouache, it dries darker. So I've got to go back in here and create a few more of these highlights. And this is where the risk comes. I think I'm still okay. I'm not sure how well that worked. Alright, let's maybe quit while we're ahead. Now there are a couple other little issues, and I don't know how important they are. So one way we could deal with this bloom is to wet it, let the whole sky in fact, and we'll just kind of put some color over it. Punch some color in there. Little white gouache and some cobalt blue. To me, that white spot is going to be essentially a non-issue. Just add a little more water to it, diversify it, or not diversify, disperse it. And again, it's one of these matters of knowing when to quit. But I think if your attention's not up in the sky anyway, it's supposed to be down here. So I think, alright, my goal was to improve this water, and I think I did that. So maybe we'll just quit overhead. And call it a success. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think. I appreciate your time. And happy Thanksgiving.